Hello, everybody, and welcome to Music Industry Insights Worldwide. Today, we've got the amazing Gregory Harris with us. Hi, Gregory, how are you?
I'm doing just fine. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you very much. And thank you so much for coming along to share your advice, your story, your expertise with the listeners. Do you want to tell the listeners a little bit more about yourself, where you're from, and what you do?
Well, I'm country boy, I would say. I was
Yeah,
born in Little Rock, Arkansas.
nice.
That's the place where Bill Clinton, one of our presidents here in the United States, he was born in Hope, Arkansas, but I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas, third child of 10 children. And I started singing at a very young age. My mother used to go to choir rehearsal. That's when they would have choir rehearsal at different homes of the choir members, small group.
Yeah.
And people would try to coerce me to sing because I was just shy guy. And they
Okay.
would give me money, give me $1 or give me some quarters and try
Yeah.
to get me to sing. So it started there. And in junior high school, I sung in the boys choir. High school, I sung in the choir. So I believe, music has been a part of me for such a long time. I can even remember as a young kid, you know, listening to music. So music has always been a part of me. So that's a little bit, about me. I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas, third child of 10 children.
Yeah.
And I have a background in education. I taught school for 10 years. I worked on the union side as a union exec,
Wow.
and I just love music. I don't only do gospel, but I've done some Motown shows with some friends of mine, and that has been just awesome. I didn't know that I would have such an experience of singing Motown music, Marvin Gaye, Four Tops, and the rest of them. Just being a part of that. The first time I did it, it was like people were crying, and after the show, they were hugging me and buying my gospel CDs. So
You're singing with the creme de la creme now. Come on, Motown is one of the big ones. Massive congratulations to you on that as well. And it kind of resonates with my own story. I grew up in a Christian family, and I always used to go to Sunday school. And someone knows
mhm.
really good voice, and they kept saying, "Go to these voice trials, go and sing for this choir, go and do this." And that's how my musical passion started as well, actually, from a very young age. But it was kind of through religion and through passion at the same time that kind of concreted my love for music. So obviously you've been doing this for a very, very long time. Did you have
40 years,
40
40
years?
years.
Look that old. Honestly, you don't even look that old. But
I have a birthday tomorrow. Tomorrow is my birthday.
wow.
January is 6th, and I will be 65.
Well, you certainly don't look it, and I'm wishing you a very happy birthday for tomorrow.
Thank
Did you,
you.
before you got into the musical choir in the background, was that a musical education or was that just through passion? How did that happen?
I think it was just, passion. I
Yeah.
remember going to the Arkansas State Fair once, and it was an organ in the exhibit hall. And I fell in love with that organ. And one Saturday, my brothers and I, we went to get haircuts. And on the way to the barbershop, I lost my money. Clumsy me, I lost my money. And so I had to come back home to get more money. So
Yeah.
when I got to my house and was walking up the steps, I heard that organ. My father went and got that Kimball organ for me. You push a button and make all those different sounds. And that's where it really started. I started just playing by ear. That's where it started. It was just a natural gift. If I heard it on the radio, I could play it. So it started there, that love and passion for music. I know, if you're involved in something, you should have a passion for it. And I have a passion for music. I just love it. I'm a different person on the stage.
Yeah. And how do you build that persona on stage? And how do you kind of identify that with, what you do, but staying authentic at the same time?
Well, I think as knowing that I have this gift that the creator has given me, and I treasure it. And I'm like Whitney Houston, it has to be right. I want it to be right. Whitney Houston is one of my favorite artists.
Likewise.
Um, you know, um, I watch, how she performed. Luther Vandross, they just did a documentary on him. I watch people like that. So I think it's a natural gift to connect with the audience. I know that I'm singing to them, but I'm not cocky about it. I know I have a gift, but I want to give a good show, and I want the audience to walk away and feel something. I want them to feel what I feel. And sometimes, when I'm singing, people are crying and people, they're stopped to do what they're doing. I'm a flight attendant, so sometimes I this is my post retirement work. I'm a flight attendant, and sometimes I sing happy birthday to the guests, and you ought to just see how they stop and how they respond, and they get off the plane and say, "Thank you for singing," but they don't know I'm a real singer. They don't know.
Wow. That's so cool. That is super cool, actually. And how did you kind of get into that as well? Like, did you use your main career to kind of fund your passion? And how did you navigate that from a very young age, actually?
Yeah, I used my career as an educator. So I was a school teacher for 10 years, and I worked on the union side for 13 plus years. So altogether, 30 years in education. So I used that to help me to fund my music ministry. I started off, I founded the Little Rock Community Choir, and we did our first live recording in 1994. And I remember I would have a souvenir booklet, and I would go to the different businesses where I, bought food, where I got my clothes clean, or just people that I knew that was in business. I would talk to them. I would tell them what I was doing. I know that the teachers would help me too. They would take out ads. They would give me money, and that's how it started. And the choir members, they would help as well. If they saw me as a leader, I'm every week bringing in funding where people were supporting me, and we were able to do that first, live recording, and then the second time we did a live recording and a video. And I was praying. I said, Lord, if you want me to do this recording, I went to choir rehearsal one night, and I said, if you want me to do this recording, I said, let me raise this amount of money. Well, that night I raised over what I had asked him for. And then I
Yes.
knew then it was for me to do it. Now I had a choir member that was getting ready to purchase a brand new car. And she said that the Lord told her to put the money that she's going to use to get her car, to put it for the choir, sow the seed for the choir, and she did. I didn't ask her to do it. No one. We were shocked. We didn't even know she was going to do that, but she did, and the money continued to come in, and we
Yeah.
was able to do a live recording and video, and it was paid for.
That is absolutely beautiful. And talking about the choir itself, that sounds like you've built a community, a solid community of people that understand you and that are about the same as you, your own little tribe. How did that work?
Oh, it was such an awesome experience. This young man, directing, started out in church directing choirs, and then to have a choir of my own. At one point, we had almost 200 voices. And I remember once we went to Chicago to sing for the late Queen of Gospel Music, Albertina Walker. She
Yeah.
invited us to her church. She introduced me at her church. Can't remember I should know the name of the church, but I know it was in Chicago, and then we went over to the late Reverend Clay Evans Church, and we sung over there with some of the big names in gospel, like the Barrett sisters. And just yesterday, they had the last Barrett sister. They had her funeral. She passed away. They had her funeral yesterday in Chicago. But I was with the elite names of gospel, the Chicago Mass, Reverend Clay Evans, Albertina Walker, and that was such an awesome experience. So having that choir, we would meet on Mondays. I played at a church in Little Rock, uh, the Macedonia Baptist Church. Reverend Cleo Nellum is the pastor, and I played for them for many years. And I was able to rehearse. They allowed me to rehearse on Monday nights with my choir. A lot of times when you're getting started, a lot of times churches won't open up their doors, or they'll try to, charge you a lot of dollars that you don't have. It wasn't like this for me. He knew that I was the minister of music for the church, and he believed in me. His son played the drums, and we were able to, rehearse every Monday. It was such an awesome experience. I believe from that I got my ministry. After that, I started, preaching. I mean, I always was preaching, but I really, grab a hold to what God had called me to do, and I started doing it. But it was such an awesome experience every week. The choir members was encouraged. They would be just, we would go to different places and sing, and the people would be rejoicing and crying, and oh, it was such an awesome experience. I remember even once in New York City, we sung for the federal government on a ship, and the spirit just broke out on that ship, and people were rejoicing, and they had the cameras in my face, shining in my face, and I could see the sailors and the different airmen and air women and men. They were all into it. So it was such an awesome experience. I will never forget. And then my brothers, some of my brothers and sisters was a part of the choir. They have family along with, in the choir traveling with me. It was such an awesome experience. I'll never forget it.
Well, a massive congratulations to you on all your achievements and for the work that you do. It sounds like you've inspired people, you've empowered people, but you've also given people a purpose and a meaning. You put them before yourself in a way, which I think is absolutely beautiful. Do you want to give some advice to people that are starting out in the music industry right now that maybe are looking to come into gospel, that are just starting out? What kind of tips and hints would you give to them, Greg?
Well, what I would say, number one, really find out, is that what you are supposed to do? Is that your gifting? If so, then I say put a team around you, people that love and care about you, that will help you. Because I had a team around me, and they would help me. I would come up with these ideas, and they would help me to accomplish what I wanted to do. I couldn't do it by myself. I had Roy Randolph, Ruby Milton, Michael White, and other people, and they were able to help us navigate, like getting buses and calling choir members and all the stuff that we did. So I would say, have a positive team around you, somebody that can help you to channel the waters. The music business has really changed,
Yeah,
and gospel is just a small piece of the pie.
yeah,
And
yeah.
if you don't really, love and have appreciation for it, if you think is you're gonna get rich quick, or I've been doing it for 40 years, and there have been times I've received some checks, I've received some royalty checks. People have purchased my music. I've been number one on the BDS radio chart,
Yeah.
but I'm still working on it. Even at I said I'll be 65 tomorrow, still working on it, and it's not where you're gonna get rich quick, but having the love and appreciation for it, I think it keeps me doing it. There have been times that I wanted to just give it up, but I have such a passion for it. I've had people to encourage me. You can't give up. If you give up, and I've continued to do it. I would say whatever you do when you go out before people, whether you're doing gospel, what genre of music you choose to do, it has to be professional. Your CD cover has to be professional. The music has to be professional, because if it's not professional, they're not going to play it on the radio. If the packaging is not professional, they're going to throw it in the trash. So you want to have that, a professional look. If you have to go out and get a professional photographer, do a photo shoot, whatever you have to do all of that before you launch out on the big stage, and practice and make sure that you have your stuff together. So when you get on the stage, whether you are performing where somebody can listen to you that might want to do a contract, or you're trying to get people to know who you are as an artist, you want to be professional at all times. You want to have the look. You want to present yourself on stage in a positive manner where people can, want to purchase your music and want more. That's what you want. And I would say don't overdo it. Be yourself. And if you go on a performing and they say you got 10 minutes, do your 10 minutes and get off the stage. Don't do 10 minutes and say, oh, I got to, do what you're asked to do, and they'll ask you to come back. So
Great.
that's some advice that I would give.
That's some great advice there. Thank you. You've given us a lot to go on and to listen to and kind of attune ourselves to be, because I think it is about perfection. Well, not always perfection, but making sure that it's the best quality you can give and trying to be the best that you can, and also develop yourself as an artist as well. Is that right?
And I would also say be natural, be your natural self. Don't try to copy Beyonce. Don't try to copy Michael Jackson. Be who you are. Now, if you listen to an artist and you want to do their song, do it, better than they did it, or do it just as good as they did it, but be your natural self. Don't try to be somebody that you're not.
I love that.
When you sing, Be who you are
Yeah.
because they know Beyonce, they know the Luther Vandross, the Whitney Houstons. What do you have as an artist? What will make you stand out?
Well, yes. Put it in your own kind of way or your own spin on it, right? So if you're doing a cover, you don't sing it exactly how the cover is. You put your own take on that cover and sing it how you
Exactly.
make it sound.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much. And obviously, being in the music industry for all this time, you've got a lot of experience. You've done a lot of passion, dedication, and perseverance. What kind of challenges and barriers have you faced accessing the music and entertainment industry?
I think, as being an independent artist, one of the challenges is funding
Yes.
because, you have to go in the studio. It costs to record. After you do the recording, the marketing. I think the marketing is, a, it takes a lot of money
Yeah.
to market you as an artist. Whether you pick with somebody to do marketing for you, that's going to cost. So that's a big cost, and that has been a challenge
Yeah.
to do the marketing. I've paid a lot of money for marketing as an independent artist, and everybody is not honest out here. There are a lot of sharks out here, and I
Yes.
paid money. I've been taken advantage of, but I have more knowledge now, so I'm not being taken advantage of now. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that will take your money and tell you that they will do X, Y, and Z, especially if you are an independent artist, regardless of what genre. They will take your money and tell you they're going to do X, Y, and Z. So you better know who you're dealing with. If you're dealing with, contracts, it's contractual. It'd be okay to hire you an attorney to look at it if you don't, know how to read contracts.
Thank you.
Um, Before you sign the dotted line because you can be taken, publishing can be taken, and after you sign the dotted line,
Yeah.
is bad to be
Going back
taken. And I know
to
how that feels to be taken, but I have more knowledge now, and no one is gonna take me because I know too much.
And Greg, I think you've touched on something really, really important as well, which is the marketing aspect. As the music industry has evolved, marketing has become extremely important. So, marketing is reaching your customers in a cost effective and efficient way and knowing who your audience is. What kind of advice would you give to someone now, especially from an underrepresented group that's bringing out music, their own genre, their own style? They're trying to find that audience, they're trying to figure out who they are. How could they do that?
Well, I think social media is a big way of doing it because they got TikTok, they got Instagram. You can do, live shows. During COVID, I did live shows on Facebook, and people
Yeah.
would listen.
Yeah.
So it's social media is a big plus. If you know of things that's going on in your community, I say, start in your community first because if you can't get your community to support you, how are you going to get the world to support you? And I remember when we did our first recording, the church was packed. And this church had those long pews on both sides.
Right.
From the front to the back, it was packed.
Well done on
And
you.
I remember that it was packed. It was packed. So Little Rock, they came out to support me and they always have. So if you can't get your home base to support you, how you expect other communities to support you? So start at home. If they having, uh, a picnic, families having a picnic, then you could tell everybody, what you're going to be doing and perform at that. Start, like that. Schools, sometimes they have things, and sometimes different groups within the community, that support, different causes like, breast cancer or, alcoholism or whatever. You can partner with some of those groups and you can perform at those events. I remember in Arkansas, they had the River Fest, and my choir used to go. We perform on the River Fest. I remember that. That was some things that we did,
That's cool.
and it starts at home and then it spreads abroad. So if you can't get people to support you at home, how you gonna get the masses to support you abroad? So it
That-
starts at home. That way you can get out all the kinks. You can perfect, that what you're doing. And
that-
then, people will be honest with you and tell you what you need to do, what you need to brush up on. Um, so that's what I would say.
And Greg, you've already touched on having issues with funding. So if you've struggled getting funding, how did you navigate that? And which other ways did you kind of make opportunities for yourself and your choir um, in order to progress?
Well, I had a I had a job, making money, so I was able to utilize that. Sometime, I had retirements or 401ks that I could borrow from. I did that, soul stuff, to make it happen. And then just having support, of people. I think one way that I got most of my funding when I was doing a live recording, I was able to have that souvenir booklet, and people took out ads in that booklet to support me,
So,
and I used that, to
oh, right.
raise money, and I was very successful in doing that. Sometime I remember we had an event, we had a 50 state march where we took the 50 states, and I had supporters that would represent a certain state, and they would, it's like a pageant, and they'd come and they bring their donation for that state. So, maybe $50 or $100, and have a 50 state march. And that was another way that I used to raise money. Bake sale, car wash. We used to do that too to raise money. So
Creative.
those
Yeah,
things still work.
I really like that. You thought outside the box and you was very creative with your fundraising efforts, and it paid off.
Absolutely.
I love that. Well done. And obviously, being in the music industry, what's your thoughts and feelings at the moment around equality, diversity, and inclusion, especially around gospel music?
We've come a long way. I feel like music have come a long way. I always thought, it's amazing how one race of people can record, music, and somebody else come along and record that same music, and it take off, and they get, commercial success, money, and all that.
Yeah.
I was listening to interview that Patti LaBelle had gave, and she was talking about
Yes.
how she sings, and she sings just as some other, groups, whether it's a Caucasian or whatever, and they make a certain amount of money. And she said that she just had that gift that she could sing at the same level. You know, I feel like inclusion, and we've come a long way in diversity, equity, and inclusion, but we still have a long way to go. And I still feel like a lot of people still don't understand what that is, and they make I know here in the United States they talk about DEI and they say
Yeah.
that, but it's not a
Word.
bad thing. Even in
Yeah.
education, we talked about diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is a good thing
Yeah.
because if no one opens the door for you, how are you going to get in?
Exactly.
And I feel like the door is opening up. There are, red, yellow, black, and white. There are pressures in the site, so all groups
Yeah.
are performing and performing together. You see duets like Aretha Franklin, the late Aretha Franklin with Michael McDonald. They did a song together. So you see a lot of groups coming together and singing and doing. And I was listening to the documentary from Luther Vandross and
Yeah.
how he did some singing with some other groups that was different from what he was doing, and it got their attention. So I think that is a plus. And even in my performing, I've performed in different places. I remember when I was over in the UK and I went to this church, and I was on the front row just enjoying the worship team that was singing. And the lady at the end, where she got the announcer, she said, "You young man, your voice." I wasn't trying to stick out of my son was nudging me, but I was just enjoying, and I was just singing and not showing off or anything like that. I was just participating, and they recognized my gift. It's always recognized because it came from above, and people are going to recognize it because when he gives you a gift, they're going to recognize it because it's going to put you above the rest because it's a true gift.
Yeah. I totally hear you on that one. And God bless. And thank God for all those gifts that He does give us all. Because they're all unique in special ways, right? So I really respect that. And
Yeah,
obviously,
that's right.
what would you like to see change in the next few years in the
I,
music?
I I tell you one problem that I see in the music industry, and I don't know if it's globally or in certain places, but I want to say I believe it is globally because the music business has changed.
Yeah.
Now you got iTunes and you got all these different places that you can get free music, and people get free music. So the artist and the person that wrote the song and the person that's singing the song
Okay.
doesn't get as much money as they used to get, like they used to get in the 60s.
Yeah.
So that is a problem. And I know I've gone out and performed, and people don't buy CDs like they used to. And I don't know if that's because they have music on their phone. You
Yeah.
got iTunes, you got Apple Music, you got Spotify, you got all these places that you can get music, and it's right at your exposure. I think that laws internationally will have to come into place so that the artist, the person that wrote the song, the person that's singing the song, the person that played the song can be paid properly. And I know here in the United States, they've been, talking about it in government, but they still working on it. Some changes have came about, but I think there are some more changes because if you can't make money on CDs, and I know people, a lot of the artists are going on the road. That's why you see Mary J. Blige and
Right.
Beyonce. That's
Yeah.
why they make their money on the road.
Yes.
Kirk Franklin has been doing a reunion tour with the Clark sisters and um, um, Fred Hammond and all those groups. They've been out on the road because that's where you make the money, out on the
Merchandise as
road.
well.
And
Yeah.
that's why they out there doing that. CC
Yeah.
Winers just put out, she's doing a
Love CC
18 or
Winans.
whatever
You want to make
tour.
all these great names that I listen to that I actually love and adore that actually inspire
Yeah.
me a lot as
You like
well.
that song that I like that song that she does about um the kingdom, say king, say I can't I should know the song, but the latest song that she got, they playing it everywhere. She's just a great artist, CC
I think she's
Winans.
awesome. Yeah, great. Awesome. She's been around for so many years as well, and she's paved the way for a lot of other artists to follow. So I really do respect a lot of the work that she's brought out and also a lot of other family members that she has as
Right.
well. So I know that
Yeah, BB does a great job. And
Phoebe did a,
Clark Sisters, they've been out. I just happened to the other night stumble on that movie, the First Ladies of Gospel,
yes,
and they even came to the UK
yeah,
and performed before.
yes,
And I was watching that movie. I saw some things in that movie that I didn't see before. I saw it when it first came out, but it was on TV the other night, and I happened to see it. And oh my goodness, some of the things that they encountered, I didn't remember those different clips in the movie. And one thing that really got my attention, just thinking about Maddie Moss Clark, Dr. Maddie Moss Clark, the late Dr. Maddie Moss Clark, and her passion and what she had to go through. Because after they performed at the Grammys, then she was called before the bishops, and she could no longer perform with her daughters. I know
yes.
that was tough on her, and I can say that in Little Rock, Arkansas, Twinkie and her mother used to come to Bishop L.T. Walker's church and do those workshops. And I got a chance, I was on radio, so I got a chance to sit in the rehearsals
No
and
way.
listen and watch firsthand. I saw Twinkie and I
Wow.
saw her mother performing. Madam Clark was a genius.
I can imagine. I could just imagine the songs you must have heard coming out of their mouths. That must have been awesome. Mind blowing.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And then I saw Twinkie in St. Louis a couple of years ago, and I was, telling her about my history. She said, "You know a lot of history, and she just celebrated her 70th birthday and still doing it, still playing that
That's
Hammond B3.
good. I'm so glad to hear that as well. And it's nice that you're connected and you know the right people in the right places because that also helps, doesn't it?
It does help to know the right people. Another person that I met that was she used to be on Ty Scott Records. She was the first, I believe, female that was on Ty Scott Records, Denise Tishner. Her name is Denise Tishner Davis. She was on radio. I heard her on radio talking about helping artists. So I took the number down and I was going to call her. A friend of mine from North Carolina had met her and she called me on the phone and she said, "Greg, I got somebody you need to talk to. I think they can help you like this. I think they can help you."
Yeah.
So I said I was going to call. I had wrote the number down to call. So me and Denise Tishner and her husband, we're like brothers and sisters and brothers. We like that.
That's what it should.
And I met her, and she has this group called Rep Nation. I joined Rep Nation, and she helps independent artists to fulfill their dreams. And she was talking to me about photo shooting, this and that. So some of the things that I wanted to do, she helped me to do them, and video shoots and all that. And it's been a blessing just being a part of her group. That's how I do the Motown with her. We've been into theaters. We changed costumes. We did the first one at the Myrtle Beach Theater. It's called the Alabama Theater in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
It's from.
and that's with the lights and the
No way.
stage and all that. And they were saying rabbits, say you got your rabbits like that. And I didn't know what they was talking about. And then I said, if they would have told me what they was talking about, I had some, but they was talking about the things that you put in your ears. So
Okay.
I performed that way with the things in my ears, and that was just awesome because you could hear everything, and that was just a wonderful experience to perform like that.
And Alabama as well. That's a special place in my heart. My mum's African American and English, and her dad
Uh-huh.
previously from America, and they were from Alabama actually. And my mum's just found some of their family, so it's really, really exciting. So we're tracing back some of our family, and it's really, really interesting that sometimes you've got genes in your family that were kind of musical family
Hmm.
that I didn't have
Now,
no idea about, and then all of a sudden I'm doing music myself. So
now,
it's
now, this theater is called the Alabama Theater, but it's not in Alabama. It's in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
oh,
But
and so
I've been to Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama.
I
I've
was
been to Mobile, Alabama. So I wanted to make that distinction.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, because I'm not from the States. I did make that mistake. And thank you for correcting me as well. Also, before we go, because time is ticking on, and this has been a great interview, is there any up and coming releases or singles that you want to share with the listeners?
Well, my latest two releases that I put out, the first one, God, You Did It Again,
Yeah.
and it was nominated for 11 Rhythm of Gospel Awards in 2023. And the
Wow.
same song was nominated recently in 2024 for three Praise Factor Awards. That was the first time that my music has received a nomination for any award show. So
Yeah.
that was a blessing. I wrote those two songs after I lost my oldest daughter in 2021. God gave me two songs, and one was God, You Did It Again, and the other one was I Just Didn't Know. So those are the latest two songs that I've done, and I'm getting ready to get back into the studio in 2025. My producer, he wrote a song for me, so I plan to go in the studio and record that song, and I'm going to be working on some Christmas music. I want to work on some Christmas music. So by the time the end, we get into December, I have it, recorded. I want to take, maybe some of my favorite Christmas songs and put my twist on it
That
and
sounds.
have it ready for December. So that's what I'm going to be really working on.
Well, keep
And
us.
I got another song that I want to go to in the studio and do a single and release it. But that's where I am in 2025, and that's what I plan to work on.
Well, good luck with that, and keep us posted on how you get on. I'd love to promote that work for you. And also, if there's any ways that the listeners can connect with you, find out more about your music, social media platforms, how could they do that, Greg?
Okay, I'm everywhere. I'm anywhere you get downloads, Spotify, um, Apple Music, I'm out there. And my handle for my email is Greg Harris 365 at gmail.com. And uh, TikTok or X is at Greg365. Same thing for Instagram at Greg365 and Facebook. You can just put Greg Harris. I'll come up. YouTube, you can put Greg Harris. I'm
I
on
love
YouTube.
that. You've done your
So you
SEO.
can see some of my live performances. So you put Greg, Greg, and then Harris, I'll come up. Or if you Google search, I'll come up too. You can put Greg Harris, the gospel singer, and all my stuff will come up. My website will come up. Everything about me will come up. You'll see a lot.
And I'll leave,
It's a lot of Greg Harris out there, but you'll see me.
thank you, Greg. I'll leave all of those links in the description below as well, so people can find you quite easily and just click on the links. I just want
All
to say
right.
thank you ever so much again. It's been an
Thank you
amazing,
for having me.
very positive energy, upbeat and uplifting. I wish you all the best and just keep up the amazing work that you're doing for yourself and for your community. God
All
bless you.
right. Well, thank you for all that you do. I appreciate you having me. And I say Happy New Year and just do great things in 2025. We're looking to hear great things from you in 2025.
And keep in touch. Thank you ever so
All
much.
right.
We'll speak
All
again.
right.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks,
Bye.
Greg. Bye.